them inside Somalia. So that policy was there, but Shabab was becoming more and more stronger every day. So then come to another policy which says that let us degrade the ability of Al-Shabaab to operate so that they cannot attract the diaspora, they cannot export their ideology, they remain on the run, so they are not stable enough to think and put their strategies in place. It's called degrading Al-Shabaab. Attacking the leadership, destroying their training camps, taking some of their properties. But at Shabaab, they developed a coping mechanism so that even if their organizations or facilities are destroyed, they have the capacity to reestablish it again. Very autonomous, very dispersed. They come together again, and then you destroy the camp here or training center here, and in a week's time you have again the training center and the gadgets. So it is some sort, that's degrading. It was good policy by debilitating the capacity of Al-Shabaab, but that was not enough. For us in Somalia, containment policy for us is not an option anymore for us. And this degrading policy is not enough. It's a good policy, but it's not enough. Now, in this time, we Somalis develop a new policy, which is not degrading, not containment, but eliminating Al-Shabaab, annihilating. Let us finish Al-Shabaab at all. And the previous two policies were militaristic policies. All of them, they based it on military, attacking, destroying. But Shabaab's problem is more than, okay, but Shabaab's problem is more than a military only. So now, the new policy dictates three fronts to address the challenge of Al-Shabaab. Militarily, to continue, is already there, but new frontier is opened, which is ideological war. We need to take back the narrative of Islam at all from Shabaab, because they are not the right people to take that narrative. It belongs to us. It belongs to the Somali people who are 100% Muslims, united in the faith of Islam, who are 100% Sunnis, and even who are 100% Shafi'i school of thought. So there's a unifying factor for the Somali people, the Islamic faith. So it's we, and the government is the right institution and the right people to represent, protect our faith. So ideological front is another front. The third is economic front. We need to fight Al-Shabaab, because now Al-Shabaab has become very strong and deep-rooted inside Somalia in the rural area. 70% of the population of Somalia lives in the rural area, and they are the ones who are there today in the rural area. So they are collecting what they call zakawat, or the contribution, or jihad taxation, or whatever name they give, different. They collect money, livestock, food, whatever, grains, whatever the people have in the rural area. And now they are in the metropolitan places also collecting revenue from the business, from markets, from everywhere. So we need to close those taps that are giving them the reinforcement, financial force. So these three fronts are the new fronts and approaches that we are going to address the challenge of Shabaab. There are strong arguments among the international partners and some of even the Somali intellectuals who says that historically this type of war never ends militarily. Maybe true. We've no problem, but we are not right now in a position to negotiate with Al-Shabaab. We will, at the right time, we will negotiate with them, and we will finish peacefully. And even now we offer we open a door for those who wanted to denounce the violence, the extremist ideologies, and join the mainstream life of Somali, if they want, even to open their political parties or whatever they want, but not with the distorted ideology, not with the extremism ideology, not with using the violence as a means to reach the end. These are some of the new approaches that we are going. Now, where Turkey fits with this is the next point that I would like to emphasize. Turkey is capacitating Somalia. Not only the largest embassy in the African continent Turkey has in Somalia, but there are also other facilities that support Somalia economically, that support Somalia to develop a security capability. Our security, the seed of our army, we are establishing a regular professional army in a very democratic context. And the seed of that army, one is Turkey is building part of that new generation of our army. Train it inside Somalia. There is a Turkson training center there that trains our elite security forces. They are also brought here, given special training here as well. Not only that, here in Turkey, Turkey universities are, I'm seeing number of young Somalis who are sitting, which home I believe they studied or they are studying right now in Somalia. In 2011, when President Erdogan came there, universities in Somalia was very, very limited in number, and even secondary schools were limited, and secondary school and intermediate school students were taken from Somalia, brought here in Turkey, and they finished their secondary education here, and they started university here, and some of those boys and girls today, they are PhD holders. They got their PhD here. So not only the military and the security sector, but the other civil service people also are trained here in Somalia. So Turkey is capacitating the new Somalia in terms of security, in terms of economy, and in terms of intelligence as well. So this is where Turkey fits. Turkey supports financially Somalia, provided budget support to the government of Somalia, which reduces the burden that we have in our fragile economy and fragile institutions for the revenue collection. Turkey is also capacitating our diplomatic efforts and training our diplomats throughout the world. Turkey is capacitating Somalia technologically, providing technology equipment and technology facilities and technology training for our young civil servants inside Somalia as well. Together we have a partnering in the economic sector, in our business people, our private people, companies are working together. We have a number of Somali companies here in Turkey, and we have a number of Turkish companies there in Somalia. Our airport, the biggest international airport we had, is run by a Turkish private company that has an agreement or contract with the Somali government. That company has increased our revenue and modernized our airport system and facility. Similar is the biggest seaport we had in Mogadishu, run by a Turkish company, who also similarly increased our revenue and increased the facility. There was no, for example, if I give one example, before that a Turkish company take over Mogadishu seaport, there was no container facility in Mogadishu. Now we have a huge number of container facility, container terminals that are operating there with a very modern equipment in our. So this private government partnership is there. Besides the government partnership, we also have a government-private partnership in Somalia and private-to-private partnership as well in many so many other private companies. Construction companies are there, and large number of Turkish companies are there. As well as Somali companies, they're starting here. Of course, there are certain challenges they are facing here, which we will be sharing with with our partner, with our brothers in the government, but the relationship people to people is developing very fast and by the day developing. Somalis, they have privileges here in Turkey, although last night I met the Somali community here demanding more and more, which they deserve actually because of their situation and who we are. In conclusion, Somalia's experience of the benefits of Somalia-Turkey partnership is extremely positive and growing by the day and by the night. Yes, you know, politics and economic situation of the global today, there are ups and downs, but our relationship is steadily growing. Turkey has and continues to stand by Somalia, our people, as we continue to our journey to stability and progress. Somalia-Turkish relationship are underpinned by a common commitment and dedication to the betterment of the lives of our two people, and cooperation in all areas that help to achieve this end. As a result of this, I'm confident that the ties between our two nations will only get more strengthened as we move forward together to a brighter future opportunity based on our win-win partnership. This win-win partnership is not only between government to government, it's people to people, it's business to business. There are a lot of opportunities in Somalia which Somalia alone cannot benefit, but with the know-how and the capacity of Turkey, I think we can mutually benefit those areas in Somalia. I would like to conclude my remarks. We as Somalis will remain indebted to the support that we provided by the Turkish government, and I'm very much grateful to be here today and share with you the experience that we had together. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, thank you very much for your speech. In your speech, you emphasized your great effort to fight against terrorism, including Shabab. And I know that Turkey is providing support to your security, your country's security. How effective is Turkey's support in ensuring security and stability in Somalia?
Thank you very much. And as I said earlier, Turkey is supporting Somalia in the security sector. It's one of the areas that we're receiving support from Turkey. And that support is in terms of developing human capability, training our forces, and equipping them with a modern equipment, as well as sharing information and experience with the terrorists. Turkey has a very good experience on the war against terror, because you eliminated them once they tried in this great country. So you share your, Turkey share with its experience. Once in a while we receive experts from Turkey who train and talk and share their experience with our people who are engaged in the war against the terrorism. Turkey provides modern equipment and as well, as I said earlier, trains our elite forces there inside Somalia and here in Turkey. They brought here, which some of them I'm going to visit even today in their training areas. So in all areas, technically, experience-wise, information sharing, capacity building in terms of human capacity, all these areas Turkey is supporting Somalia, of course, with other international partners as well.
Mr. President, your government represents actually a stable area for Somalia, and you're trying to have more democratic and institutionalized state in your country. What steps are planned to take in the first stage to increase the state capacity in Somalia? How important is it for Somalia to benefit from strategic partnership while making these all efforts?
Somalia is a unique case. We have multiple challenges in place. We fight a global war, but in our territory. So by doing that, we also parallelly we're building state institutions addressing the complex challenges of fragility in a very fragile situation. So in these terms, we have multiple programs which we call them the capacity injection programs, supported by many international partners as well. Turkey, in that case, as I said, they train a human capital, civilian who works in the civil service. Turkey provides budget support for our limited means. So in all these areas together, in that line, as I said, our motto, which was Somalia in peace and itself and in peace with the rest of the world, that means we have built structures within the state institutions at the center, the federal government, and at the peripheries, the federal member states as well, which leads to the reconciliation of the society, so that our people can come back together and own together the state that we are building. So in that line, we are very much involved. Priority areas like completing, we have a constitution which is not complete yet as a provisional constitution. We are going to complete that constitution and build the necessary institutions like constitutional court and others. So we are in a continuous review and reform in all areas of the state institutions at the center and at the local level.
Well, Mr. President, we know that Somalia should not be considered as a country that needs aid. But in building countries' capacity, sustainable investments are crucial. So, you know, investments should come to Somalia rather than aid, and this is the main argument. In this context, what are the priority investments in Somalia?
Well, as you rightly said, aid is not an option, but it is it's an option that has been brought by the circumstances. Somalia is a rich country in terms of resources. We have ample arable land, which is good for the agriculture. We have the longest coastline, which is full of resources, whether that resources is fish or minerals or carbohydrates, oil and gas are recently explored in Somalia, not still utilized. We have livestock, a very large number of livestock, but the situation is not an enabling situation. What we are more focused right now is making the environment a very conducive and enabling environment. That is what compels our people to receive aid and grants and all this. But that will be short term. We will move forward, and we will going to reach a time when we will be the donors who provide donation to many other countries. Somalia is a rich country, but circumstances make it poor, and that's temporary. So investment areas that are easily benefited from Somalia is agriculture, while the world today is facing very serious food security challenges. The maritime resources, like fishing industry, like the oil and gas industry, which is now proven reserves there in Somalia. The livestock, we have the largest stock. Yes, droughts and all this have impacted our livestock, but still we have a livestock, very, very ample livestock that can be benefited, and we have other minerals as well. So in terms of resources, Somalia is a rich country, but this is the situation that we are going to move forward. So opportunities are all those three areas that we are traditionally good: livestock, agriculture, farming, and marine fishing. These are the areas. Now we have fourth sector, which is oil and gas as well.
I know that Turkish business sector is a very vibrant one, and I believe that your emphasis on the areas that Somalia needs some investment will attract to their interests. For Turkish people, Somalia is an exceptional country. We have a very big place in our hearts for Somalian people.
That's true.
And at the same time, I stated that this is not just a brotherhood, but at the same time, it's a common interest between Turkey and Somalia. And we know that our relations are constantly moving upward. We are, broadening our partnership. But still, of course, there are some other areas that need improvement in Turkey and Somalia relations. What are they, Mr. President?
Well, we have a common, in many areas, we have a common understanding and common agenda in the global issues, whether it's in the United Nations or the African Union or in many other places, Somalia and Turkey. In the challenging world of today, diplomatically, we have in many areas we have common agenda, and we address commonly. And the other area that we basing our discussion or our partnership, the situation that exists today, and the mid-term and the long-term that may come. At the current situation of Somalia is liberating Somalia from the terror groups, which we, as I said, we are partnering, and in the short term is tapping the untapped resources of Somalia with the Turkish capacity, with the Turkish technology, Turkish capacity to support Somalia to benefit from those resources. That also there is a lot of area that we agree. And in the meantime, not only benefiting, but also building the capacity of Somalia to handle its own affairs in the long term or the future areas. So we have specific areas that we partner, and we have areas that we partner with other international partners as well. The most important thing is now, maybe, as I said, our priority is security, state building, but the future is, as I said, Africa is the future, the continent with the highest per capita, youth people, the resources, everything. So it's the continent of 21st century, and Somalia is one of the gateways that Africa, and Turkey is the one of those countries who have the historic link and the traditions with African people in many parts, and Somalia can be a gateway to that, with the Turkish capacity, of course, and support. So we have a short-term and long-term agenda for both Somalia and the continent of Africa.
Mr. President, I know that you have a very important meeting with our President Recep Tayyip Erdogan tomorrow, and I believe that you will have a very productive talk with him in those issues. And as Seta and our participants, we will be watching, following the developments, the areas that you will make improvement in our bilateral relations. I'd like to thank you for making available this event and sparing your time for us and giving this opportunity. And thank you very much indeed. And thank you all the participants.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Our panel has ended. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.